Okay, welcome, American-made rock crawler. And here today we have Joel Gurman with Legacy Off-Road Training. And did I say that right?
Legacy Offroad Recovery Training.
That's right. I said it right before the interview, and I still got it wrong. And he's also with the Utah Off-Road Recovery Team as well. So welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
So we're just going to get to know Joel a little bit better. I think I've ran across him online a few times. I don't know that we've had much, except for we did have a short conversation at the Salt Lake Off-Road Expo. But Joel, where did you grow up at? Where are you from?
So I grew up in both Farmington and Layton, just kind of up in Davis County. And I've been playing with Jeeps up there since I was 17.
Do you remember like what really got you into off-roading, or was it just something always there?
My friend's dad had a Jeep XJ, and we used to just go up Farmington Canyon in the winter when they used to leave the gate open, which was a really smart thing to do. And we'd go up there middle of winter, snow would be coming down, and we drag sleds behind the XJ. And I'm not saying it was the safest or smartest thing that we've ever done, but we would ride sleds or snowboards or anything behind them and just get drug up and just kind of led from there.
Nice. Very cool. I'm a Utah boy myself. I grew up kind of on a farm in Orem, but I remember back in the day, and I was like, we used to have such much better snow back then.
Oh, yes.
Nowadays, it's like, especially this last winter, it's like one of the driest winters ever.
Yeah, it's been really slow for us on the recovery team just because we've had no snow. A couple of years ago when it was just dumping on us,
Yeah.
man, we did over 100 recoveries in 4 months.
Wow. That's amazing. So maybe we'll talk about that first. When did you get involved with the recovery team? What's your story with them?
So, oh man, kind of long. I've been in the towing and recovery industry since 2009 and been playing with Jeeps even longer. And there was a couple of recovery groups that started popping up, thanks to like Utah Jeep Crew and some of the other, Facebook groups. And I joined one of them, and then there was some kind of weird falling out, and another group, which is now the Utah Offroad Recovery Team, got started. And I was probably one of the first people to join up with them. And we're actually, in a couple of days, it's going to be our 10-year anniversary as a group.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I just kind of got involved from there. And a couple years in, I got elected to the board of directors. And I've just been kind of pushing ever since.
Yeah. And they've got a nonprofit and all that now, right?
Yeah, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We don't charge for what we do. We do accept donations, but by no means is it a requirement.
Yeah.
Those donations help pay for like our trainings. We do quarterly trainings for our members. And then we also do a big Christmas party at the end of the year.
Yeah, because recovery, I mean, doesn't matter what way you slice it. You're using people's time, and then the recovery itself, you got to have gear, you got to have equipment. And it's nice to know that you have people that actually know that they're doing, and they're not just out there guessing.
Yeah, we, oh gosh, when was this? It's been a few years ago. We went from a group of 368 people, and then we started putting requirements on the team. So like right now, the current standard is you have to have a ham radio license, basic first aid certification, FEMA, it's the incident command structure 100, 200. There's a few other just random certification bits of gear, and that really kind of scared a lot of people off. But the people that stayed have been some of the most dedicated and valuable people I've ever worked with.
Yeah, I found that in any industry or any even in hobbies, like when you have things that are required, it tends to scare off people that might be less dedicated or not quite as interested. So I would imagine that you got people that really want to be there and then are passionate about it.
We currently have 35 members on the team. I'd probably say 14 or 15 of them are really active, but any one of them that come out, I can trust to get something done. I'm not sending Bubba J with a pickup and a chain out to go pull somebody out, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, no, we have a lot of fun with it, and I really enjoy the people that I worked with there.
So let's go a little further back since you had mentioned it. What did you tell me about getting into the towing business? Because I think that kind of relates to what you're doing, it seems.
Yeah. Um. Oh man, my first towing job was in July of 2009. Is when I first started. That put me in a flatbed tow truck, and I rode around with somebody for a week or two, and then they said, "Good luck." And I think that was still more training than most tow truck drivers get, unfortunately. But yeah, I started doing flatbed towing, did a little bit of stuff with the light duty wreckers, and then started in with the heavy duty side of the industry. And that's where most of my career took me, was down the heavy duty side. And with that, I got to do a lot of cool trainings.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, we broke down last year and in the motorhome, and my wife says, "Why don't we just have it towed?" I'm like, well, you ain't gonna get a normal tow truck to pull that thing away. You're gonna get like heavy duty stuff. Those heavy duty wreckers are pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. So the last 8.5, almost 9 years now, I've been selling tow trucks.
Very cool.
So I actually have a heavy duty on order that I get to go pick up in May
Nice.
and drive that back from Tennessee.
Wow, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
So is that your day job?
that is my day job. Yeah, I build and sell tow trucks.
Very cool.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
keeps life interesting.
Nice. So, legacy. Let's talk about that.
Legacy got started. I'm gonna say thanks to the Utah Offroad Recovery team. We were, it was still that massive 368 person group, and there was a lot of weird stuff happening. People were hooking straps to trailer balls, just not hooking up things right. And I was approached by the president at the time and asked if I'd be interested in putting on some sort of like a training class. And that's not something I'd ever done. I'm actually kind of an introverted person, which sounds really weird from a trainer and a salesman, but
Right.
I'm kind of an introverted person, and started looking into it, seeing what I could put together. And we had a day up at, you might know him, Ryan Ward. We were up at his house, and we brought in an XJ who I still have. His name's Flip. He's out of the property I'm using now. And we just started dumping him into ditches and started kind of having fun. Brett Davis came out, and he's a bit of an engineer nerd. So he started talking about some of the angles and the math, and I fell in love with it. Started doing a few other just small classes, and then decided, I was fall of 2019, decided to put on my own classes, start my own business. And my first class, I had two people, one guy in a Jeep and another guy in a Mazda CX-5 who had gotten stuck the week before, and his buddy in the Jeep talked him into coming.
Nice.
So, and I've been teaching classes ever since.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's always fun to find something that you're passionate about, especially if you didn't necessarily know you were passionate about. Um, and then getting to do that on a regular basis, and then getting to share that with other people. I think that's always like, I think anything in the off-road industry, I think, has a history of sharing it with other people. Like when I was growing up, obviously that's how I got into off-road, is, my uncle sharing it with me, and it was a family thing. And then over the years, going to events and sharing it with people. And it's always exciting, especially when you get to show somebody something they don't know. So I imagine that's the same way for you when you're doing that.
I really enjoy, I've, sharing my knowledge has been kind of an interesting part of it, but watching the light bulb moments for people,
Yeah.
when something finally clicks, like they've seen it on YouTube or they've seen other people doing things that it just has never made sense to them. And then you get them out there, and we're actually putting vehicles in ditches, and they're actually, getting hands on with this stuff and watching it go, oh, that's how that works.
Yeah.
That's been really fun for me.
Well, and it's like getting to do that and getting to experience that just sounds like a lot of fun. And so you've gotten to do towing, and you got into off-road recovery team, and you've started your own business, and you're getting to train people. That sounds like a lot of cool things. And what are you, do you have anything cool working on what's your next chapter look like? Just more of the same?
Oh, a little bit. This last year in conjunction with the Utah Professional Towing Alliance, I developed a hands-on towing certification course that got certified by the Utah Department of Transportation. So for, oh gosh, 6 or 7 months now, we've been putting on monthly classes certifying tow truck drivers in the state of Utah. Everything right now is online,
Right.
or they come once a year, like for companies like Wreckmaster. So I'm trying to get more of that out there. And I think I'd like to maybe start doing more of the towing recovery training,
Right.
to just kind of step it up a notch. But um, just doing different events. Like this year, I've been hired for the Moore Expo out in Missouri. I've been hired to go teach out of that next month.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, Expedition Overland hired me last year for the Big Thing event, and they've brought me back on for it this year. So
Yeah.
just exploring and working these different events.
Well,
Put a lot
it
of fun.
sounds like it gets to open doors for you, which is always nice.
Yeah,
It's like it almost gives you things that you weren't necessarily expecting, and when you get them, you're like, "Wow, this is really cool."
yeah. Well, a lot of it is thanks to an organization that I've recently become a part of called the International Four-Wheel Drive Trainers Association.
Okay.
It's been around for a little over 20 years. Um, it's not something that's easily handed out.
Right.
You go through a week of testing where you're put in some pretty stressful situations, doing recoveries, driving, field repair stuff, and you're having 40 very knowledgeable people hovering over you. And you get to spend a week of that. And they have about a 20% pass rate.
Wow.
A lot of people, they'll go through 1 or 2 years before they get probationary status or earn their patch directly. I was very fortunate. And it sounds terrible, but my first year I was able to get probation, and that's actually that's a significant accomplishment.
Yeah.
Along with two other people, I got probation. Some guys out of Vegas, and then we had two people their first time around come through and earn their patch, and that was in 2024. And then I spent all last year working with different instructors. We went to a place down in Arizona. You might know him, John Marshall out of Moab.
Okay.
He owned the property out in Arizona,
Do know.
and we got to go to his place and do some trainings down there. So we had a lot of fun. And then when I went back to the TFC in 2025, about halfway through the week, they decided that I'd worked on all those little skills that I needed to kind of tighten up, and
Yeah.
they gave me my patch. So it's kind of a big deal for me.
It sounds like a big deal because, I think that's one thing that there's a lot of people that may be doing recoveries that might not be the best person to be doing the recovery.
I've had a few of those. A lot of people watch YouTube,
Sure.
and I've ended up recovering those people.
Yeah.
I think they're the next. Yeah, they're the next off-road recovery person, and
Yeah.
I've recovered a lot of them.
I have found the people that are legitimate on recoveries, as far as YouTube, usually have some sort of background in that area. And a line probably is the same for people who aren't on YouTube as well. But I think when I was talking to Rory, he told me the same thing. There's people that just say, "Oh, I can do a recovery," and they get into it, and it's not what they think it is. So
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of thinking on your feet and making stuff happen, and
yeah.
it's not as easy as some people think it is.
Oh, and then it can also be dangerous.
Very.
Like you're talking about people hooking up to ball hitches and stuff, and I think a lot of people, because of YouTube, have seen some of it, but I've seen some firsthand live stuff where it's like you could get killed or you could get injured very badly.
Yeah. I every year at SlowRex, I do a presentation, and part of it is that story from down in Arizona where the gentleman had that 12-inch drop hitch
Yeah.
come through his windshield and
Yeah.
out like that. And it's sad, but
Yeah.
stuff like that doesn't happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, as far as off-roading, what's your favorite thing to do when it comes to off-roading? As far as like, are you like rock crawling? Do you like going out and just going camping, or what's your go-to weekend?
It's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
When I first started into it, it was kind of like trail rides. Because my first Jeep was a 1996 Jeep Cherokee,
Okay.
and it was on 31s, bushwhacker fender flares. I mean, just terrible, right? High school rig. And beating up some of the trails and Farmington, Bountiful Canyon, I thought that was like the hardcore stuff. And then I got my Wrangler and I started doing more rock crawling, like Moab. To me, Moab was like the place to be,
Yes.
and did a lot of that. And then over the years, I guess, I don't know if it's me growing up or just not wanting to break parts left and right. I've kind of gotten more into the trail riding. I enjoy camping. I especially love winter camping.
Yeah.
And but I'd say the most popular form of off-roading for me right now is really just the recovery team.
Yeah.
Kind of have a mission. I go out there, I get it done, and then I can play around in the mountains more, or I can head
Yeah.
home. And I I've found more enjoyment out of that than a lot of things recently.
You know, it was a really fun one for us that kind of mixes some of that all together. And I mean, it was probably like, I don't know, 8 years ago now. We went up and we just went for a trail ride up to Forest Lake, but we went up in the fall and we went up there knowing it was going to snow. We went purposely snow camping at Forest Lake and then coming down the trail in the morning, just kind of slowly creeping down it. And it was different. If you're prepared for camping in the snow, it can be fun though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. So
Yeah, we had some similar a year or two ago. We went up, it was right before they had closed Mirror Lake Highway, Alexander Lake. There was snow on the trail in, and we kind of knew it was going to snow that night, but we weren't super expecting a ton. Came out to about a foot of snow the next morning and had to get out of there. And it was a little interesting, but we can get to happen.
there's something about that that's kind of fun in a twisted way.
Yeah.
Um. All right. So I'm gonna ask you some questions, and these are just kind of light questions to get a little more about everybody. I usually ask everybody these 10 quick questions, and they change a little bit. Some of them are the same, but what's your favorite tire?
Oh, it's always the last tire you ever bought. I ran the um, Toyo Open Country MTs for a lot of years, and they were a great tire for me, especially a lot of what Utah had to bring. But now that I'm doing more trainings and unfortunately more highway driving, I've switched over to the Falcon Rubitrex.
Okay.
They're very similar to the Wild Peaks, but they actually make them in a 35 1250 R15, which used to be the most popular tire in the world.
Absolutely.
And now they're getting a little tougher to find.
I was looking at some old pictures the other day of when I started building off-road rigs, I was building Toyotas, and back then 35s were huge.
Yeah, they were monster truck tires.
I was like, wow, I got 35s. In fact, I made it a point because my cousin got 33s and I skipped 33s altogether. I never even owned 33s. I just went right to 35s. And it was a big deal. And now it's like 35s are like, oh, you're mall.
Yeah, you're mall crawling.
Yeah. You get made fun of all the time. And I'm like,
Well, it's funny, like the TJ or the LJ application, it takes a lot of work to put 35s on. Where a JK or a JL, it's like,
yeah,
you trim a fender or put a 2-inch lift on it and it fit just fine.
the JL's got wheel wells for days.
Yeah.
And you know what, though? You can do a lot on 35s in an LJ or a TJ. I mean, they're very capable, especially with the breakover where it's at. So, there's that. I've seen some 35s. I've seen some TJs and LJs on 35s rolling on the trail next to some 4-doors on 40s going, and they were doing just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite locker?
I've been a poor boy wheeler for a long time, so I don't know that they're my favorite, but I know they work. I've had a Walkrite in my Dana 30 for 19 years.
That's a long success rate.
Yeah, and then I've got a Yukon Grizzly locker in the back. I've got a Ford 88 in the back of my TJ, and it's done me well. At some point, I would like to try selectables,
Right.
For right now,
hey, if it's getting the job done, why worse the worst of it? Do you does pineapple belong on pizza?
No,
Okay.
no, that's where heathens eat.
It's usually it's the hot question. I think we're at 3-2 right now. I'm not going to say which, but we're at 3-2. Um, whiskey or beer or favorite non-alcoholic beverage?
Um, more of a rum guy.
Okay.
And then I like my lime beers, and then it's all about the Mountain Dew.
You know what? All about the Mountain Dew too.
As I'm drinking a Diet Coke today, but hey,
All about the Mountain Dew for me as well. If you go to an off-road event, are you a camping guy or a hotel guy?
oh, camping.
Um, favorite thing to do outside of non-off-roading or recovery is completely something else.
I have another hobby that's probably cost me more money,
Oh yeah.
and people are going to laugh at me for this, but I've gotten into the flannels.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dixon Hales, all that. They're kind of collectibles, and I used it as a weird motivation to lose weight. And I started in a 4X, and I'm down to the larges. So
Very nice.
yeah,
Good. That's awesome. I got I need to figure that out myself because I used to walk around and run around all day, and now I've been doing a lot of sitting behind a computer, which is kind of a
it's a terrible thing.
yes, need to get up and get out. I have to start doing stuff. Um, all right. If you were going to build a new rig or get a new Jeep or a new vehicle, off-road vehicle platform that you'd get to start fresh with.
You know, this has been a top conversation. We've brought it up a couple of times within my little inner circle, and I've never been a Ford guy, but I've been eyeballing the Ranger Raptor.
Okay.
The price point's not bad. They come locked front and rear, 33s, rally tune suspension. Other than maybe upgrading the tie rods, they're very capable out of the box.
Very cool.
Yeah, I got to go play with them at the Raptor Assault course, the school.
Yeah.
I got to go train their instructors last year, and he brought out 3 of those Ranger Raptors, and
Nice.
I was in love.
Favorite winch? Do you have a favorite winch?
You know, so on the team, we've had 7 winch failures in 10 years,
Yeah.
and not one of them's ever been a warn.
There you go.
So, and that's what I have on the front of my Jeep.
That's what I have a friend of my Jeep as well. In fact, I have another one sitting there for the LJ that was off of my Jeep. I had an opportunity to get a Xeon Platinum for about half off, and I jumped at it because as much as I think the remotes suck because the remotes die all the time. If you're going to use that remote, like I make it a ritual before I go to an event or go wheeling, I charge that thing up and I leave the cord in the Jeep.
I'm all about the corded remote. You can keep the wireless stuff.
But what I love, this is the only reason I got that wireless remote is because I can click the clutch from my seat.
Yeah.
And it's the one feature that I wanted. I didn't really care about the wired remote until it was just that one. Otherwise, I would just hardwire it to the dash.
Yeah.
And just control it there. I wanted that freaking wireless clutch thing. And I actually still like it. But the problem is that when I'm sitting in my Jeep and somebody's hooking it up for me, almost everybody doesn't understand it. They're like, where's the clutch? Where's the clutch? And the other bad thing is, if your remote's dead, then you're kind of screwed. You can't do anything. So again,
for me, it's more of a safety thing. I like knowing that if I have to get into somebody's winch while they're holding a remote, I can unplug it.
yes.
Right. And they can no longer hurt my hands at that point.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. All right. And last one, this is a good one. I thought this was a good one. What is your unsung hero of recovery tools?
Oh, the shovel.
The shovel.
Yeah, it's always the shovel.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how much work you can save yourself by using a shovel.
Very good. I like that one. Okay, well, thank you for coming by. I think this has been a fun conversation. If you need a recovery and need to get a hold of the Salt Lake Off-Road Recovery Team, or you are interested in recovery training, or hey, maybe you're interested in buying a tow truck, Why don't you let us know all the different ways to get a hold of you?
So for buying a tow truck, it's Wasatch Truck Equipment here in Sandy, Utah. For the Utah Offroad Recovery Team, you can reach us on Facebook or Instagram. We do have a phone number. I will send that to you so you can put it right here.
Okay.
And then Legacy Off-Road Recovery Training, you can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, or you can go to our website, which is legacyort.com.
Very cool. Well, thank you for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I have some more episodes coming this week, and we'll get those posted up. If you could like and comment, if you comment, I will respond it. Please share it. I do need to keep those subscribers coming up. I think we're getting close to 250. We're trying to get to 1,000. And the watch time hours, we are actually going to hit the 4,000 hours we needed probably by the end of the month. We're 2/3 of the way there. We're almost at 3,000. So thank you to everyone that's watched, everyone that's shared and subscribed. If you've commented, I've responded to you personally, and I appreciate it. So smash all those buttons and smash that notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.